Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the Rocket City Network. I am your host, the one and only Mike Sean. Now, today we have Mr. Coach Petty. What's going on, Coach?
Yo, how you doing, brother?
Man, look, trying to stay COVID free.
Hey, pretty hard to do in this world.
Yes, man. Yeah. So, today on the show, we are going to be discussing some misconceptions that some families have about training their youth. So, Coach Petty's going to dive into that, and hopefully, we'll be able to answer a lot of your questions in this segment. Special shout outs to EliteTalentFootball.com for supplying the little fit I got on.
Okay,
Yo,
who is that?
yeah. So my cousin, he actually played for the University of Kentucky, man. He has like his own football academy out in Atlanta.
Man, I
And
need to go
so
follow
yeah.
that. Hey,
Yeah. So he trains pro athletes, college and high schoolers.
that's
And
what's up.
so
Oh,
I'm definitely gonna link you up with him, Mr. Petty, as far as bringing some camps to Huntsville, because I think it's much needed.
facts. Also, talking about that, so let's go back into our speed count, AMP speed count for Arbor and Huntsville's area. Again, limited spots are available. We are offering a 4-week speed development training that will help you prepare for the upcoming season. Week one, we will do test the sprint drills and we will do the measurements of the acceleration and power and max velocity. Basically, saying we're just going to look and see how you look, you know what I mean? You will leave week one with a sprint profile that outlines your strengths and weaknesses in video footage. So if you don't understand the jargon of words, you can see it for your eyes and see it for yourself to see how you can improve it and what you need to improve each consecutive week. We will help you improve the speed with our speed development plan. We are looking to serve all sports, but we highly recommend fall sports to come to this. This will be in the summertime. Fall sports are football, soccer, volleyball, golf, and basketball. Um, if you would like more information, just go to Empowerment Movement Project.com and we'll have all that information on there. And we also have a thing where if you don't know what a speed camp is and understand what I just said, it will show you there. So yeah.
Definitely. And you'll see all that in the description box. Also, if you guys are looking for Coach Petty to come to your home and help you or your youth train,
Yes.
he's giving out some discounts for Rocket City Network subscribers. That too will be in the description. So let's go ahead and get into it. Coach Petty, one of the misconceptions that I hear all the time is that our youth, right, when it comes to training,
Mhm.
our youth, they're not mentally tough enough to have a personal trainer until their teens. Is that a true or false statement?
That is a false statement. That is basically saying someone cannot value something until a certain age. And we all know value come from being um, um, in the environment, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
always had a trainer, you will already know what it takes to have a trainer. Now, if that's what you tell yourself, so you don't have to pay for a trainer with your kids and say they're not going to value it, then I understand the argument. However,
Mm.
I know people who've been having trainers ever since they've been 3 or 4 years old. The same way
Yes.
of little league football. If you go
Mm-hmm.
to Florida right now, Dade County, you or anywhere, you will have somebody in the ages of 3 years old with a helmet on. Someone had to train that kid how to tackle. Now to say
Mm-hmm.
should 3 year olds be tackling, that's not me to judge. But I am telling you that they have trainers, right?
Yes.
So yeah, training, personal trainers are for me, and I could be biased because I'm a personal trainer, but however, I would say I think everyone should have one because the whole job of a personal trainer is to teach you how to move properly, right? Um, that should be instilled as young as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want them to get in teens after habits been built when they've been training them themselves and saying, well, this been working for me. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it only been working for you because that's the only way you've been going and you got used to it. So now in sports, you got to learn a different way. And which the older you are, the harder for you to learn depending on who you are. But that's what they always say, right? If you go with that, then you get with that, right? But no, man, everyone should definitely be able to have a trainer from any age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The different trainers, now that's different. If you need a youth trainer, then you should find a youth trainer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they will be more of tool, have more resources for that young age to make it funner, to make it more understandable in their language than you would say to have a trainer for somebody that's 30 plus years old, unless they have that background in it. So just if you do get a trainer, make sure that trainer has that background for your child, not just like a trainer who never done it before.
Yeah. So the thing is, a lot of times we watch on social media, we see these young kids doing extraordinary things at a young age. So
Mm-hmm.
we're a lot of times we're thinking it's raw talent,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily. A lot of these kids who become YouTube stars on the hardwood or the baseball fields,
Mm-hmm.
they have some kind of trainer with them. It's kind of like in a classroom, right? Back in the day, I know sometimes in our community, having a tutor can be frowned upon,
Mm-hmm.
but people have been doing that for a long time, and their kids are the ones who are getting scholarships and getting the good grades because they have that extra help.
Yeah.
A lot of us, we believe since we were athletes back in the day, we know how to best train our kids.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we have to step back and be like, you know what? I need somebody else to instill some of the gifts in my kid and help bring those out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And just find a trainer that has the values that you hold, and that's how you
Hmm.
can, I mean, to make it easier on you or yourself. Um,
Hmm.
I had a lot of kids that I trained that after a while, regardless of the knowledge I got, they didn't listen to a word I said because it came
Mm.
out of my mouth. You know what I mean? And that ain't my kids, right?
Yes.
so
Yes.
so I a lot of parents that I train their kids, to be honest with you, they have as much information as me, and I definitely get a lot of information from them. You know what I mean? Because they've been coaching for way longer than I've been coaching.
Hmm.
Again, it goes back to they rather somebody else say it than just so they don't have to strain the relationship they have with their child, because um, it becomes a challenge to maintain that motherly and fatherly role and coach role. It's pretty fun and easy. I won't say easy, but it's easy to handle at a young age, but after you teach that child so much, you know,
Hmm.
child continually hear you, it could be a point where they just shut off and then that's when that frustration comes and just like, not listening, constraining, and that's when they're like, yo, just get somebody else. Um,
Yeah.
two things.
Because we see that a lot in professional sports too. You look at Roy Jones Jr. He was trained by his father. When he got to the professional ranks, he was
Yeah,
like, "Nah, Dad, I got this."
yeah,
Floyd Mayweather, his dad was probably one of the greatest trainers of all time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
But he
there was a
learned.
strain in that relationship.
Yeah, because it goes back to power though.
Uh huh.
After a while, you gotta take off the handcuffs. You know what I mean? After a while, you gotta let go of the
Yes.
leash. You know what I mean? And um, and yes, you want to continue molding and molding and molding and holding them back, holding them back, holding them back. So when they actually get there, everything becomes easy.
Hmm.
But that is your journey as you looking at your child, molding your child. Give your child the opportunity to mold themselves, right?
Hmm.
To the athlete they want to be, right?
Hmm.
You might see your son or daughter to be a fast, jobby type of athlete, right? But in their mind, they probably just want to be the sit back shooter type. And
Yes.
their eyes is just like, quit shooting threes. But it's just like, that's their journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the thing about that is once they get a coach or a trainer, and guess what that trainer gonna say? Quit shooting threes. And now
Yeah.
you got two people tell them, right? And they just not hearing from you, they're hearing from everyone, which then make the child, the athlete, be like, okay, it must be some type of truth that
Hmm.
my parents are saying, the reason why they're saying it, you know what I mean? And I remember saying some things, and I've been hearing a player just trying to hold their tongue. I know they're just ready to say, I told you.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you did. I know you did. Now I'm going to tell them too, right?
Yeah.
So let me just finish telling them. Then afterwards, when you get in that car ride, then you can be like, I bet I told you, right? Yeah. Now look at you, right? But it happens though. You know what I mean? I get it. I get that so much. But
Yeah,
um, they are every parent is like that. They thank me afterwards. You know what I mean? Because
definitely.
it's a less stress on them. They see somebody else they trust that's doing exactly what they're going to be able to do, which gives the parent time to just relax because you need to be able to relax to watch them play, enjoy the
Hmm.
moments, you know what I mean? Instead of sitting there getting ready to critique that moment,
Yep.
just sitting there and being able to like, dang, that's my child doing
Hmm.
it, right? And it's a different light other than they could have did this better. It's more seeing it just like, wow, like, man, we did an awesome job. My child is an awesome player, you know what I mean? And that's what trainers supposed to be able to bring to the table when you give them to them, right?
Yes.
It's only for a couple of hours because at the end of the day, you still have them, you know what I mean? But that spiel is for majority for just parents who just not ready to let go. I feel you though, but always research that trainer.
Yeah.
Get that trainer with the questions that you have, your concerns you have, until you feel well. Do not leave without feeling well. So, and if that trainer make you feel well, go to another trainer and see if they make you feel well. If no training makes you feel well, then hey, then just continue doing what you do. You know what I mean?
That's a personal problem right there.
Yeah. I don't want to say that, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, like, another misconception that I've heard is that too much training leads to kids not wanting to pursue sports later on in life. Um, is that true?
That just depends on the kid and if the kid's
Uh,
being forced or not, or the type of training that kid is getting, or it's the training. Yeah, basically the training what the kid's getting. If the kid's enjoying it, enjoying
mm,
session, and I don't think that child will be like, I'm done with this. Only time a child becomes to that stage is when it becomes more of it being a job than it becomes
mm.
the love, right? But that's all of us, though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, definitely, definitely.
So to combat that, I always recommend or suggest parents to just, hey, they did well this season. Just don't make them play that sport. Make them play another sport. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Give them some different eyes. You know what I mean? I say this right here for a man. I'm a man first before anything.
Hmm.
So if somebody try to talk to me any type of way, I'm a man first, regardless of the
Yeah.
vibe, regardless of the field, regardless of the situation. I can be at church and a pastor, and I'm a man first, right?
Hmm.
So I tell that to all my athletes. You are an athlete first before a
Hmm.
man. So don't put yourself in a box in this one sport when the fact that if you only got one sport and you only can go to that coach, now you're stuck, right?
Mm, yeah.
Have different sports that you like that you built on, then you can go to different places. I'm not saying that as in, oh, man, forget that coach. That coach gave me too much discipline. I'm gonna go over
Hmm.
here. It's just let you know that you get yourself options. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it gives you a more awareness to understand that this is why I do what I do for this sport, and this is what I do for this sport, and then you don't become so short-sighted to think that everything is about that sport. You know what I mean? And when everything becomes about that, that's when kids get it's anxiety, right? Because they feel like this is all I have, and if I lose this,
Hmm.
I'm done for. And when that fear comes and they feel like that's all they got, that's when they usually push away, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the same thing we do with love, right? When something we get so attached to something, we try to push it away because we know how we can feel it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I definitely would tell any athlete or any parent to just make your child a multi-sport player so they
Diversify your portfolio.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Just go out there and just try
Mhm.
different things, you know what I mean? And they will go to what they love, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's when that's just at the end of the day. And so when it comes down to it, that can be their reminder. Like, I'm ready to quit. I'm like, yo, you remember you did A, B, and C. What did you say? Well, I did say this is what I do love, and I
Mhm.
have shown that this is what I do love. I did go out and see everything else. So I'm just gonna sit here and do what it takes for me to focus on this. You know what I mean? And I believe the athletes should be doing that all the way up until they graduate high school. You know what I mean? It's not middle school. Okay, that's when I'm going to play only basketball or only
Yeah.
football. I believe in that. Letterman jacket should be filled up.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? And not just one letter. No, get all your letters. You feel me?
Mhm.
And that all that's going to do is boost up your ratings in all type of sports and all type of everyone's going to be looking at you, and
Mhm.
and then you just get a whereabout and an understanding of why everyone likes everything they do, and and what that does for you as that athlete. No one can come to you and be like, you just a one-sided player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just a
One
basketball
dimensional.
player. Yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
because if you look at it too, a lot of the college athletes or people who make it to that level,
yeah.
they usually can play two sports.
They always find one.
You know what I'm saying? Now they're not all like Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson, but usually somebody who plays basketball probably was a cornerback or a
Yeah.
tight end.
I would say they are all like Deion Sanders, but they're
Uh,
not as they're
Talented.
yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah, yeah.
freakishly talented.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders was up here in everything. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
saying it's those athletes that's playing in D1. I'm saying they're up here on one, they're one here on another one,
Yeah.
down here on the other. See, they're even when they're not good at the sport, they still play it. And a lot of people don't do that. So even that sport, they're still down here, but they're still playing for all 4 years. And then the other sport, they probably right here. But it's like they always play 2 to 3 sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, and
Regardless,
like and so what I've noticed too, as I've gotten older, when you're playing softball, you run to the gym, you play basketball, you run into guys who might have played offensive line at Auburn, but they're pretty good on the basketball court.
yes,
I saw that a lot of times.
yeah,
I know for me, I was always fast. So
mm-hmm,
me transitioning to football was easy. You
mm-hmm,
know, um, I love baseball because baseball, if you don't like being a pitcher, you don't like being a shortstop, there's other positions that you could play.
mm-hmm,
So a lot of times baseball players, they might grow up being a pitcher, but then they find themselves in center field in college,
mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
would
you're
say
right.
that. Well, what you just said, that is cheat codes that the old school people before back in the day they didn't have trainers. You know, what I mean, like
Yeah.
personal trainers. They just had guidelines. They had just had cheat codes. What they do, right?
Hmm.
So if I want a quarterback, right,
Hmm.
and I want my son to be a quarterback, I'm going to make sure my son be a pitcher,
Hmm.
right? I'm going to make sure my son be able to play outfield.
Hmm.
Um, and all that does is give him the throwing mechanics that a quarterback need to be able to do to throw a
Yep.
cannon and be able to do a strike, right? Come on now.
Yep.
It's that simple. If I want my child to be a strong safety or rover, that's an outside linebacker. That's the one who can go
Hmm.
in the corner, the tight
Hmm.
ends, and be able to catch it on backside. So I'm going to put my son in baseball. He's
Hmm.
going to do what? Shortstop.
Yep.
Gonna be able to cut. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm also going to put my son in soccer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Get used to get their feet work, right? I don't need anybody else. I just can put them in soccer. That's what soccer does, and then just teach them that way. And then when they play football, they're going to automatically be that strong. Say they're just like, yo, you're the most athletic. You know, the coach has to see these movements that they do in other sports. That's another reason why you play multiple sports. They see these movements in other sports and they
Hmm.
say, you are that athlete that I need in this position. And right off the bat, I know for a fact you don't know how to play this position, but you have what it needs. So all I got to do as a coach is to do my job, which to teach you it, right? So it's things that and that goes back to yes, multi sports. You know what I mean? Same.
Yeah. And like even with basketball, I don't see why a lot of people don't put their kids in soccer because you're doing a lot of jukes. So I was a really good soccer player growing up. And of course, it kind of transitioned to baseball, basketball, football, all that good stuff. But soccer, I mean, you're cutting to the goal all the time,
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of that has to do with a stigma.
That's all.
Certain communities, oh, soccer, man, that's some whatever, whatever.
Yes.
So I think people have to just diversify their way of thinking because
Mhm.
soccer is that can help out a lot.
Soccer and track, yo,
Yeah,
track,
yeah, yeah,
and, especially track, yo, it's everyone needs to know how to run. You put your kid
yeah,
in track, teaches them how to run correctly. If a
yes,
child knows how to run correctly, they will understand of putting force into the ground and to projecting it forward, right?
mm-hmm,
Is the basis of velocity. That's what literally what track is. Is
mm-hmm,
hey, how can I move this mass at an accelerated rate forward
mm-hmm,
at a faster pace, right? So
mm-hmm,
now, whatever methodology the track coach has to do that, that's them. But they're going to learn something that give them that baseline. So when they do play the sport, they automatically understand to push off that first step. You know what I mean? Because that
definitely,
first step matters in any sport. So
mm-hmm,
especially DN, middle linebacker, all that, right? Freaking, goddamn, I just literally forgot. Wide
mm-hmm.
receiver,
Yeah,
tight end, and even for tackle, that first step matters. So it's going back, but then you put them, you make them play. What's the thing? We got the ball, and you be like
shot put,
shot put. You
yeah,
feel me? That shot put position where they have to put in that squatted stance at
yeah,
first. That's teaching you how to power up and
yeah,
jacked up.
yes.
If a center know how to do that, they're pan
Oh yeah,
every time. They gonna step back, and when they come, they gonna
uh-huh,
hit because it's already been done in that shot put, and it's just like oh,
mm-hmm.
shot put the same as it. You don't see it, but the coaches, if you put them in there, they'll get it, and everybody wants. You know what I mean?
Just like wrestling, you have a lot of guys in the offensive line who wrestle. It's constantly getting people off of you, moving your hands, using your hands as a defensive and an offensive weapon.
Mhm.
So moving on to, I hear a lot of people saying that genetics plays a bigger role in a youth's success than just having a personal trainer.
That is 100% truth. Genetics literally plays
Wow.
a role and in a youth. Notice I said
Yes. Wow. Because like, thinking about it, I was like, man, I think he's going to say 100% false.
nah,
And
you
me, I was kind of 50-50 on it, but you're absolutely right. You know, I know KD once said that what's the quote that he used? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't want to work hard.
yeah, yeah.
But if you have raw talent, I mean,
Because it's raw talent. That's what it is. It's something
yes,
that no one has touched. Raw talent is something that it's a stallion horse, right? That
yes,
in the
yes,
woods, and it's just like you look at it, it's wild, and it's just like man, it's magnificent, right?
mm-hmm.
And it can be able to move and it can run as fast as it can, and you put it against a tame horse, right? And they went on that Kentucky Derby track and see who
Yeah,
will win. I guarantee that raw talent horse will
mm-hmm.
beat that tame talent, right?
Yes,
The
yes,
difference between raw talent and tame talent is
uh-huh.
raw talent, it ain't tame.
Yeah. So you have what's the term that they use? You have a higher ceiling.
Yeah, you got a higher ceiling, but
Yeah.
ain't nothing matter because it ain't tame. You ain't
What?
gonna get that horse to do anything you want it to do. So
Yeah.
so it goes back to potential. You got all the potential, but you ain't gonna utilize it because you're not allowing somebody to help you tap that potential. So that's what it goes back to. They will rather use someone who's less talented, give them that knowledge and give them the know abouts that they know for a fact. If you learn these movements, you will succeed. They would rather have that than an untamed person who then what you tell them what to do, they will not listen, and you teach them something, they're not hearing it because their way is their way. So they're not gonna get any progression, and you're wasting time on raw talent that yo just leave it be. You feel
Now, what
me?
if it's somebody who has genetics behind them, but they're willing to listen?
Oh,
So
that's when
they're gonna beat the person who's been coached up for years.
yeah, but
You know, in most cases,
yeah, because that person
if
also
given the opportunity,
because that
yes,
person also been coached up too because they listen. You see what I'm saying? You
yeah,
just is
yeah,
it have all that raw talent and they listen.
mm-hmm,
So they don't even need a coach. If they just go to a place and they hear people talk and they listen to them, they can take what they learn and they can go do it themselves. And they'll find out it usually those type of people like that are usually the athletes that you see to beat all the records, right? Those are the
mm-hmm.
big standards. Those are um, I don't want to say To, but I do want to say what's his name? Ray Rice, not Ray
Yeah,
Rice, but
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rice. Yeah, is it Ray Rice? Is it?
Talking about the running back
Nah.
or
Give me
Ray
the
Lewis?
give me the wide
Ray
receiver.
Lewis?
Give me the wide receiver.
You mean
Rice.
like that's
The
Andre Rison?
no Rice 49ers.
Oh, Jerry Rice.
I think Jerry Rice. That,
Yes.
that's what you're saying right there. Those are Jerry Rices. Those are the even the Randy Mosses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that conservative, relaxing. They hear you
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna do their way, but they're taking in what you're saying. You know what I mean? And those are the athletes that always go out and do the best of the best works. You know what I mean? Um,
Because like back to genetics too. So in a lot of sports, well, a lot of times we as parents, we want our kids to be the best at everything, right?
mhm.
And we don't. Sometimes we see like you see Spud Webb, right?
Yeah,
Muggsy Bogues, they make it to the NBA.
yeah,
So of course that kind of gives of other people who are around that stature or that size the same belief that they too could make it,
yeah.
right?
If they move
So
past them,
yeah, but even them, they have like genetics playing a role too.
yeah, because of how they move. Spudwell, Muzzy Bones, goddamn Isaiah Thomas, uh,
Yes,
my man Nate Robinson. You feel
yes,
all of them move the way they do, and the way how they move is magnificent. Just watch them. You know, they move like
mm-hmm.
water. They actually believe in downhill movement, so they do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of knee drops. And what that does is it instead of you pushing force into the ground so you can be rewarded by force, you
Mm-hmm.
are literally just going into the force and you just taking that and then that's how you go up. That and I always studied those people because I just love dunking. It's just an art of me like Vince Carter. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I just love those movement patterns they're able to perform, and it's just that it's they work hard and is they was easily adapted to how they move. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if you want to spud well, best believe you have to train like how spud well train. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah,
you ain't gonna get that at home. You have to find a trainer for that one.
yeah. Because even though they are smaller in stature, like I said before, they still have genetics that plays a role in that.
Yeah,
Because just because you're tall doesn't mean you have good genes.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, I know a lot of guys who are 6'5", they can't dunk.
Mm-hmm,
When I was in high school, guys who were taller than me, they 6'4", they couldn't dunk.
mm-hmm.
You know, so they might have I guess they might have height in their family, But as far as the sports
They don't got
aspect of it, being athletically gifted through genetics, they just didn't have that.
those also are definitely you're 100% right about the genetics piece. Of, yes, this is how they movement, and yes, if you look at their, if you actually did an autopsy, or not autopsy, but a biopsy on their muscles,
Mm-hmm.
um, and actually look at their tendons, I guarantee all those athletes that you just named that
Mm-hmm.
is shorter, they actually still have thicker tendons. So the thicker
Mm.
tendons is the thicker the band. The thicker the band is harder to pull, but it holds more elasticity,
Mm-hmm.
energy into it. So when
Mm-hmm.
it comes back together, right, it comes back together. Then that's how you can jump actually higher too. If you look at the athletes that you just named, well, not the athletes, but the people you just named,
Mm-hmm.
they're more people who just are sedentary, just sit down at the house. They're not moving.
Yeah.
They're not balanced on their body. They're not used to their body. And if they're not athletic, they possibility because they're not competing and they're that tall, they could be timid. And because they're timid,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who are timid can't be able to display power. You know what I mean? So they can't be able to just jump because they ain't used to putting all their power into something and getting up. They probably just like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, punch. They,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Instead of just like,
Yeah. Because a lot of times we think, oh man, if I was his height,
yeah,
or man, look at his height, he should be dunking and he should be a beast. And if AI was 6'7", he'd be doing this. But if AI was 6'7", he wouldn't be AI,
nope,
you know? So
nope.
I think a lot of times we can't look at somebody's stature, their weight, their height, and think that they should be on that the offensive line. Man, you should be playing for Auburn, man. A lot of times you hear that. Like
Nah,
there's one guy, he's like 6'10",
yeah,
and I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, dude, man, you should be like an NBA somewhere,
yeah,
but that wasn't in him, you know.
yeah.
Or you hear people say, oh, that's a waste of height.
Anyway, so he can see us there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But nah, yeah, you 100% right. Another thing about AI is AI from the country, yo. You know what I mean? He from
yeah,
Virginia.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that's backwoods. Think about backwoods. You're always outside beating your feet. If you
yeah.
always out beating your feet, you're gonna gain that power. Another thing about AI, other than that, is also to the fact that when he got when he had that case and he went to
Mm-hmm,
prison at that such a young age,
yeah,
right after college with him and his friends, when
mm-hmm,
that racial, when that girl he threw that,
yeah,
I feel you, yeah. But then after that right there, he had that prison he was in was a hard labor prison, meaning that they was
mm-hmm,
working 12 to 15-hour days, breaking, shoveling, moving dirt. Hey, that's
mm-hmm.
some intense stuff. So when he got out of that and went to Georgetown, ain't nothing Georgetown could be ever done to him to get him physically fit that he ain't already done in the past 3 or 4 years. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, he was mentally strong from that too. I mean, that you
yes.
know, one of the things they try to break you down mentally when you're in those labor camps
Mm-hmm.
or prison camps, whatever they call them nowadays.
You're right. Like labor camps. I'm glad that's a
Yeah,
good terminology for him.
yeah. So, any final words for parents out there that are kind of, I don't know, but what's the term? On the fence of getting their kids a personal trainer.
I would say for all parents, not even, just not for them, but for all parents, to really to evaluate your athlete yourself, um,
Hmm.
seeing what you think they need, seeing, understanding how far you believe they will actually want to go. If you just want this to be like a recreational type of sports, then just find you just a recreational type of trainer, right? But if you actually see some talent in that kid and actually see some like, yo, you actually can make it to that next level, then you just get that next level trainer. You know what I mean? Who's going to
Hmm.
spend that time with that athlete? who's just not going to put them in this type of system they put the rest of the kids, right? But
Definitely.
if it's recreational, then give them that system. You see what I'm saying? Because now you're just pushing them, making them do things like, I need to put you on multiple things so you can not be at home all the time. Then that's when you push them to that type of system. But if you see some things in your kid and you know for a fact that this kid can really excel at an accelerated rate, then just put that money towards and get a trainer that's going to just look at that child, evaluate that child, analyze that child, write a program for that child, and just continue as he or she build from that program to just move on and just to continue growing. You know what I mean? And just want that trainer to give you information too. So not just to train the child, but to educate you. So if that trainer is not there, for you can be able to instruct your child. You see what I'm saying? Because that trainer is only 30 to 60-minute sessions. You want your child at home. You need to really be seeing that. So when your child at home, you can be doing that with that child at home. If you see your child doing it, you can be able to correct in your own child. You know what I mean? And that's just my perspective, and that's how I coach. I make sure I love the fact that parents are there so they can be able to see what I'm doing, because I know for a fact that I'm not enough. 30 minutes, 60 minutes for twice a week is not enough to be able to give your child the best. To give that child the best, that child has to be working from home. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So understand that if you give that child that trainer, that means you are paying and you are agreeing that you as a parent is going to be on this road with that child. Don't just say, that's what you want to do. I want you to have a new, ain't none of that. You know what I mean? This is a lifetime road that's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it keeps going. But if you make it be A, B, C, D, F, G, and you stay behind, best believe when that child gets to this point, and it comes to the opportunity for that child to say, I'm not playing anymore, or I'm going to go this way, and then you want to add your input, understand where you are at. Because this is that child's career, not your career. You know what I mean? You wasn't here with that child. So when that child make that decision on that finalizing of what school he or she would like to go to, or he or she would like to go to college and go professional, then you have to understand where you are at. Unless again you went with them, then that's one thing I just recommend everyone do, because again, every trainer is going to tell you that your child has the potential to go higher, because they always have the chance to go higher, because humans can grow and will grow if consistently, continuously moving towards their goal. Just have that goal in mind before you talk to that trainer. You know what I mean? Just really sit there and think about it. So when you really go into that trainer, it'll be an investment that you'll be ready to make, the child will be ready to make, because it's a scary investment. It's a scary moment for both parties. So when that happens, you just be prepared for it. You know what I mean? And not just try to shoot it off like it ain't. I'm just gonna get his money. And you just do. You know what I mean? I just had to say that because people ain't really getting it, but then just like, well, they ain't doing right by my child because you.
You at some point you have to put some kind of skin in the game as well.
Yes. Skin in the game.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. The Rocket City Network. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we out. Yep.
Peace.